RNZ News at 9. Manamihi, I'm Catriona McLeod. The Japanese government is considering declaring a state of emergency for the greater Tokyo metropolitan area as coronavirus cases climb. It casts fresh doubt over whether the country can host the already delayed Olympic Games. There were a record 4,520 new cases on December the 31st, prompting Tokyo and 3 neighboring prefectures to seek an emergency declaration from the national government. The US president has claimed that federal statistics on the number of COVID-19 cases and deaths is overblown. Donald Trump has tweeted that the number of deaths is exaggerated compared to other countries. However, the top US health official, Anthony Fauci, disputes this, saying the deaths are real and the jam-packed hospitals and stressed-out healthcare workers are not fake. More than 20 million people have been infected in the United States and nearly 347,000 have died. Members of the U.S. House of Representatives have narrowly voted to retain the Democrat Nancy Pelosi as House Speaker. Ms. Pelosi, who led her party in the House since 2003, received 216 votes in favor with 209 against. She says it's a great honor to be re-elected, but that Congress has some serious challenges ahead of it.
We begin this new Congress during a time of extraordinary difficulty. Each of our communities has been drastically affected by the pandemic and its economic crisis.
Nancy Pelosi. The Greens co-leader Marama Davidson has made a national strategy to prevent family and sexual violence a top priority for 2021. As part of the Greens cooperation deal with the Labour Party, Ms. Davidson has become the country's first minister for the prevention of family and sexual violence. She says the sector has asked for government accountability.
As for a national strategy, that we've got a plan that is community-driven, whānau-driven and led, and that is relevant to different neighbourhoods, that is relevant to different regions, as opposed to a centralised strategy and plan out there. So that is actually my priority at the moment.
Marama Davidson says her plan is to report back to Cabinet and get something started in the next few months. The Coromandel community of Whitianga is hoping for the return of practical driving tests in the town. It lost the right in 2012 after the Transport Agency introduced new criteria that meant the nearest town for testing was Thames, an hour-and-a-half drive away. The manager of Whitianga Social Services, Cheryl Fitzpatrick, says a training program for people wanting to get their license will start in the new year. But she says without the ability to set the practical test, many people will be disadvantaged. Blind Low Vision New Zealand says it wants to see the government prioritise Braille more, including in public health messaging. Today is World Braille Day, marked by the birthday of Louis Braille, the Frenchman who developed Braille. Blind Low Vision Chief Executive John Mulcair says COVID-19 information, for example, was produced in Braille, but only as an afterthought. He says the government needs to recognise that many New Zealanders rely on Braille as their primary form of communication. And that's the news.